Hey everyone, it's me, Cupid83.
And Barbie0913.
We went to a doll show recently, the Chicago Toy Show, and as you know, we like to show you what we picked up and kind of talk about it in case you missed it. So this was the first Chicago Toy Show of the year. And it's one we've gone to forever. Like, my mom has gone to this one for years.
When it was just dolls, yeah.
Yeah. So we didn't pick up a ton at this show because there were circumstances, but we'll get into that. But let's talk a little bit about it. You can start.
As far as what the show was?
Sure, yeah.
I could do a list of things I didn't see. It was more toy oriented, even in the areas that you can usually find dolls, that where people were bringing toys and dolls. It was very limited. Lots of Shoguns. I mean, there are so many Shogun warriors that I want.
They're like really big robots.
The Godzilla. Give me the Godzilla, yeah.
Yes.
But as far as dolls, it was more slim pickings.
Yeah, there were only, maybe 7 to 10 actual dedicated doll vendors.
Yeah, and then you had them in the other rooms that were kind of mixed up with everybody else.
A handful, though, of 2 or 3. It wasn't like a ton were mixed in with the rest of the population.
Right. Yeah, there weren't. There were more just toy collectors and more monsters. And I like the monster stuff too, though.
Yeah. So there weren't a lot of like modern day Barbies. There weren't even a ton of vintage Barbies.
No Thumbelina.
No Little Miss No Names. None
There
of
was
like
a
the
Giggle.
There was a Giggles.
One Giggle that was in really bad shape, and for the price she was charging, I wouldn't buy her for that.
Right. And that's that whole 60s sort of doll line that wasn't there.
A couple of Victorias.
No Madame Alexander's.
No, you had the one bisque area that they always come in just one booth of. And the people that were there that are normally there, they just didn't bring all their stuff. Now, granted, we did come off of a day of snow, and then the next day the show was on. So
yeah.
I think they might have worried a little bit.
Right. But it was just, as far as doll shopping, probably it was a little disappointing.
Right, but we had a 10-year-old with us.
We did.
We had a 10-year-old, my 10-year-old niece. And it was her first time at a show, so it was very interesting to watch her go and look at all these little things and want to touch.
Exactly.
Touch.
Like, we would say, look with your eyes, not with your hands, but apparently her eyes were in her fingertips. So she had to go and, touch everything, like the $200 things. I was like, no, don't touch this.
But she found things like Littlest Pet Shop, lulls. And I will say the lull people, kind of expensive there on
Very
what they
expensive.
want for lulls. And
$12 a lull.
my
LOL.
10-year-old niece knows the names of everything, so she knows exactly what the lull is, and they wanted $12 and $15. And then for Littlest Pet Shop, it was a $1 accessory. But
25 cents.
25 cents an accessory. I can understand that. Okay, that's good deal for little beds and stuff, but then this itsy bitsy little stuff he wanted 25 cents each too.
No.
And I'm like, really?
Yeah.
How about just we take some and then you tell me, quote me a price, instead. But wow.
And what I thought was funny is my cousin would just go and say, oh, there's LPS, and it took me forever to realize it. LPS is Littlest Pet Shop. But she would never say Littlest Pet Shop. She was all LPS.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she also does not quite understand that a wallet does not have an infinite amount of money in it.
Yep.
But I think it was more of the traditional boy toys, like the cars and the robots and.
Hey, robots are not boy
good.
toys.
But I think it was more of your traditional stereotypical toy show stock.
And some really cool things like the sheriff's badges, a whole bunch of different kinds, and the cap guns.
The cowboy stuff.
I love the cowboy stuff. The cowboy stuff is really cool.
Gene Autry.
If you're looking for that kind of stuff, and Roy Rogers. That's a great show to go to.
So there was a lot of that.
And they also had some things in the 2 outside rooms, which they kind of have doors on, and those rooms were really freezing. So cold. But cold and windy in those rooms, so I felt sorry for those people.
Because they couldn't get the sun. They
Right.
weren't. They couldn't benefit from the sun
Right.
because they were enclosed. Whereas some of the other ones that are just like stables, they would have had sides on them.
Yeah, but there was a person who had blow molds for Christmas time. That, I've never seen anybody with the
No,
blow molds.
that was
So
pretty
hopefully they come at the next show because that'll be before Christmas.
They should.
Yeah.
But that was a little bit about it. Like we said, it's kind of disappointing in terms of dolls, and like Gigi's wasn't there, and Shirley's Dollhouse wasn't there. Like they weren't represented. But maybe because there's so many other shows now, because there's the Naperville Doll Show and the Kane County Doll Show, maybe people are kind of picking and choosing.
I think there was an Iowa show or an Indiana show that was also that same week, so that might have been where Gigi was.
That could
Yeah.
it could be where some of the other people were.
Yeah.
So let's kind of talk about what we got. Both of us didn't pick up a ton of stuff. There wasn't a lot that was calling out to us. And plus we were like babysitting the 10-year-old and her fingers. So
Wanted to go home already.
yeah, we did like one room and she was like, well, there's no more money. She couldn't buy anything. She went through all her money. And then like we still had 3 other rooms and she didn't understand why we had to go through them.
Why?
So we were like carrying her by the end.
No, just kind of like holding
Like,
on to her. She was my buddy.
Moving her.
Yeah.
So, note to self, train children before the age of 10 if you want them to go to doll shows and know the etiquette.
There's a lot there. It's a big whole scope of things to see that it's going to get a little rowdy.
Yeah. But let's go ahead and talk about some of the stuff we picked up. You can start because you picked up a few more things.
There was a booth that had Barbies. So, and I usually don't go buy Barbies. But they had Tooties and Todds and Buffy, so I picked up a few. They were really good prices. So I've got a blonde-haired Chris and 2 Tooties. And the nice thing about them is they have their shoes and some have their socks. Something about them just makes me think these guys are European issue, just because I know there's a difference in the thickness and the legs and arms and stuff. They just don't feel like them, but maybe they aren't. Maybe they are. I don't know. But they have nice outfits on and they have shoes and socks and it's just like, oh, cool. So I had to pick them up because they're in good shape. Nothing bad about them.
Right.
Their hair's a little bit of sparse on them, but not bad.
So I picked up this adorable little doggy. No. The first thing I picked up was this thing, which has nothing to do with dolls. They are little medals. Little medals that Toys R Us was giving out as a promotional item that's Star Wars related. And I collect C-3PO, so this medal is a C-3PO one. You had to play a game and then like show Toys R Us you played it, and then they gave you this medal.
Oh.
So this guy had a bunch of sets, and we had just come off of Star Wars Celebration, which was a Star Wars convention. And this was just kind of cool, so I thought I'd add it to my collection. So yes, that is that.
And I spotted it.
True. Actually, she spotted everything I bought.
Yes, basically. Another from the same dealer that I got the Tooties and the Chris from. They had a Francie, and she's got her boots, and she has her really groovy outfit. Now, her hair, I don't know if it's a reroot or what. It's very lemon yellow, and it's more fuzzy than smooth. But I thought she was cute because she's got her whole outfit, and she looks really cool.
I
And
like her
Francie's.
outfit. Her outfit's awesome.
Isn't it awesome?
It is awesome.
It is.
And her hair is cute.
Yeah, but it's more of a lemon yellow than the others, so I don't know if that was a different kind or not, but I liked her.
I also got this. It's a Kittle from Mattel. It's a Skididdler. And she is rah-rah. So she should have pom-poms, like a cheerleader. But she works. She's in good shape. And I got a handful of little Kittle Skididdles. So it's kind of like a mini collection. Because there aren't that many to collect. There's like 12 of them or something.
Which means you can do it.
I can totally do it. I can get all 12. So she was a good price. She was cute. She's one that I don't
clean.
always see. She's clean. She had her tag on there. All she's missing pretty much are her pom-poms.
Yeah.
But she walks. She stands well. So yeah, this was my second item.
And then since we did come off a Star Wars Celebration, when I was there was one booth that had a lot of Wickets, a lot of Ewoks, and they were really good prices. And I thought, oh, well, I'll just wait a couple days and then I'll get them then. Of course, they were all gone by then. But in one of the rabbit booth or whichever one, the chicken booth.
One of those.
There was a booth that had some. So now I have Wicket. And he's all cleaned up. I've already put him in the freezer to take away the mites or whatever that might be on him. And he's so cute. And I wanted one for celebration. So I finally got one, but I got it at the doll show.
So the last thing I got was a Barbie. Mm-hmm. She wasn't with the doll vendor. She was with like the outdoor vendors. It is this Barbie. It is JAL Barbie. It's Japan Airlines exclusive Barbie from like '97. Mm-hmm. And some people listed it as being like a December exclusive. But I don't know, maybe they sold her year round, who knows. But it's a 97 exclusive that was only for Japan Airlines and only for domestic flights within Japan. So it would be really hard. Like they didn't do international flights for this. So to get it, you had to actually like live in Japan and take a domestic flight. So she's really cute because a lot of the Japanese exclusives have like, instead of the blue eyes, they have brown eyes. Which you'll see here. It's super pretty, especially on these 90s Barbies. She has fun hair. It's kind of like a dirty sort of blonde, like an ashy blonde sort of color. And she's wearing an authentic sort of stewardess outfit, flight attendant outfit that you would see on someone in 1997 wearing on board your flight.
She has her pearl earrings and her pearl ring.
Yeah, she has the pearl earrings, the pearl ring, cute little face, and then she came with all these things. So she comes with her apron, and she comes with the serving tray.
The cart.
The cart, so, we'd have all the food options. And within this, take all this stuff out. So here's the tray. Cart. So here's the cart, and it opens, so you can stash your accessories in there. She has her faux leather purse, just for when she's like not,
when she leaves,
working.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
She has some accessories like, food, tea, servers, silverware. When they, I guess, give you food that you need silverware to eat, as opposed to just like a bag of, a cookie or a bag of peanuts. She has her vest, her apron. She has her Japanese passport.
Very cool.
And there's a bunch of cardboard inserts. So there's some meals, and there's a magazine to read, and there's some orange juice. There's your cookie and your chocolate bar.
There we go.
And I guess like a magazine, something. I don't know. Maybe it's like the rules that are in front of your seat.
Here's the exit, bring the oxygen down.
And then this, I don't read Japanese, so this is a bunch of text. And I don't know what any of it says, so I don't know for sure what this is, but it's kind of cool. The other thing about this, if you do get one, is this box is more than just a box. It's also kind of like a play set. So this is the box where it looks like you're in like the cabin. And then if you open here,
it's the galley.
You have the galley, so Barbie can, pretend to prepare everything, and then you can close this up, and it's like she's serving people.
That's cute.
And
And it brought you to search other airline dolls.
It did. It brought me to search other airline dolls and other exclusive dolls to Japan, or exclusive Barbies to Japan, of which there are a few, and like I said, traditionally they'll have these like brown eyes, so that's kind of cool. Is that all you bought?
That's all I bought.
See, so it wasn't all that, there weren't that many things that we saw at the show, clearly, which is fine, because as we said, we came off of Celebration, which was also really fun, so maybe we'll say a few things about that, and then we'll put some pictures in, so you can kind of experience that.
I saw at the show, I think I saw about 3 Shirleys. They had one really big one that was really pretty.
Yeah, but not too many of them.
No, we didn't see very much. But you want to talk about Celebration?
Yeah, might as well. So, Celebration it's the big Star Wars convention that's put on from Disney and Lucasfilm, and there've been a couple of them. Usually they go between like LA or California and Florida, and then it'll go back to California and then Florida. There's been a few in the Midwest. I think there might have been like an Ohio one or an Indianapolis one maybe.
Yeah, the one guy told us that.
Yeah. But this one was in Chicago. So it's the first time it's ever been to Chicago, and it was 4 days of like everything Star Wars.
And we commuted, so we went back and forth by train and walking along the river walk, which was actually kind of nice.
And we'd catch a shuttle, then
And
we'd
we-
do the same thing.
And we got every kind of weather imaginable.
Right. But it was a fun show. If you like Star Wars, it's worth looking into. I don't know if I'd travel for it, but if it's in Chicago again, I would go back.
It was interesting because you met a lot of people when you're walking to get to where the shuttle is, so you strike up conversations with people that you would have never talked to before.
Yeah. So then we got into the episode 9 panel, which was great. They had this lotto system set up, so before the show, if you wanted to get into a big panel, you had to like enter the lottery, and you either got tickets or you didn't get tickets. And because they expected so many people, like 30,000 people a day, for the big panels in the morning, that's what they did. So of the big like 4 panels, we got into one of them. We only entered for 2, but I didn't even hear results back for the second one, so I don't know what happened there.
It was a kind of a little glitch in their communication.
There are a couple glitches.
Lots of glitches. Lots of glitches.
Lots of glitches. But you had to kind of roll with the punches there. So we did the episode 9 panel.
Yeah, that was good.
And we saw the trailer reveal and the title reveal for The Rise of Skywalker, which was fun. And JJ was on stage, and Stephen Colbert was brought in to host.
That
and
was
it was
fun.
the entire cast of
Yeah.
Star Wars.
Yeah, that was cool.
And it was fun. I think the highlight for me was seeing like Lando Calrissian on stage talking, and C-3PO.
They're a little odd in their what they allow people to sell. It has to all be approved of what you sell, which means you don't get any mom and pop crafty kind of people, which I kind of miss because I like that stuff. A lot of that stuff they make is really cool.
Yeah.
So this was very licensed. You needed approval. I mean, beautiful artwork. If you're just a little schmo who just dabbles on the side, they weren't going to necessarily accept you.
No.
So I think that's a drawback for me. I like that other kind of stuff. I like to see, or like when I go to a doll show and somebody makes earrings out of pictures from the little booklets of Barbies.
Yeah.
You know, you didn't see any of that kind of stuff.
And their artist alley was disappointing for me because, again, their artist alley was very specifically like Lucasfilm had to okay them. And so if an artist has this whole catalog of pieces and stories and characters that they do, they couldn't bring them all. They could only do like the Star Wars ones. And even then, I think it was limited to certain pieces.
Yeah.
So there were some artists that I've seen forever at a bunch of shows, and I know I like their stuff, but I didn't leave with anything because I didn't really want their Star Wars stuff. And I did buy arts, don't get me wrong, but I pre-ordered it before the show because I knew I liked it.
Yeah.
But like as far as like an interesting artist alley, I don't think the artist alley was great.
Lines were long. They had book signings for C-3PO's book.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there were just a lot of lines. Even if you went to a toy vendor like Lego or Hasbro, you had to have won that opportunity to
Yeah.
stand in line all day. Oh, and the store for the convention. Oh my goodness. We didn't get in there until the last day.
And they had nothing left.
They had nothing left. There were people that spent their whole day standing in line waiting to get into this store
Yeah.
with the con items.
We did not do that because it
No.
wasn't worth it because you
No.
can get the stuff online
Yeah.
afterwards. But yeah, even Funko. Like, I expected more from Funko, to be honest. I wanted a standee like they bring to Toy Fair or to like San Diego Comic-Con. Like, I wanted more, but it was essentially aligned so people could buy the exclusives, which would then end up on eBay at like 10% more than what they should be, or like
The
even like 10
scalpers.
times what they should be.
The scalper prices, they really shouldn't allow somebody to get 12 and 15 and 20 of an
No.
item because then they just go to their booth and they sell it and they price it up.
Exactly.
They need to find some way to stop that.
Yeah, we didn't even get to Funko's booth.
No.
Because we weren't going to stand in line. Lego, you could walk through. Hasbro, you could walk through, but you couldn't buy the exclusive, which was fine because it was boring. But that is kind of disappointing that some of these booths you had to win the lottery to get in just to then see the merchandise on eBay way more than it should be.
But I mean, as all cons, it's cool to see people dress up. There was a lot of really great costumes. I mean, that was fun to see. And then
Yeah.
they had clubs and groups that made photo opportunities for you with backdrops and stuff.
Yes.
It was really kind of cool.
But that was a really big line. Like every day of the show, the backdrops had a really long line, so we did not stand in any to get any photos.
No.
We should have. Missed opportunity, but there was just the lines were always so long for them. There was this thing going around where people were handing out swag, just like random attendees were going and saying, "Here, I made this thing, take it, it's yours," which is awesome, and I like the spirit of it, but then it kind of got muddled in between with, like, it got muddled with the hardcore traders who trade patches and trade, like, these, like, puzzle patches or really cool pins.
They were really cool. I mean, who knew
Yeah.
they had these really cool kind of... Who knew they had these really cool kind of big giant pins that looked like the Star Wars collector case and with all the pieces inside. I mean, really expensive
Really
stuff.
nice. They put a lot of money into it, but it was kind of getting confused with like the other swag where people were just freely handing it out, as swag should be freely handed out. So there was a little mix up with that. Like, I ended up doing the swag thing. We made frames of mini posters, and we had 3D printed lightsabers. So I handed that out to like some kids and some adult kids. So they enjoyed it, and we ended up getting some swag back. But that's an interesting thing, and I think it might be cool if that were to be spread around to other conventions. Because you never know, like, making someone smile makes you feel good, right?
Right,
So
you
like
just-
handing someone a pin and saying, "Here, it's yours," that makes someone smile.
You just had the hoity-toity people that didn't want your swag if it looked too cheap.
No, if it's not a patch or a pin,
it's not
I
a
don't
patch.
want it.
When you had children and their parents, they made something together so they could hand out, and somebody didn't want their swag. It was like that made them all sad.
Right, like,
So-
so sad. So
I
there
don't
was
know.
that aspect of it too, which was interesting, but I could see the downside of it.
Yeah.
But I can also see a lot of the positive side of it. So there was that. If you have any questions about Celebration, just feel free to ask us, but that's kind of like the quick rundown.
It was my first time there. It was her second time.
But it was my first time going when it was run by Disney. Because you could see the Disney touches, like the fast passes to get into lines. And like the lottos, I think that's a very Disney thing to do. So you could see that there were some Disney. And pin trading, they had pin trading going on. But we could never get any pins because they had to be official pins for the show.
Which meant standing in line for 10 hours and that very first
Right.
day to try to get in there and
To
then
get, like, a
hope they
mystery
didn't
box.
close the line.
Yeah, and we didn't get the mystery boxes, like they were sold out, so
Right,
we couldn't
until-
actually pin trade.
Until we found out there was a vending machine that was all the way in a corner somewhere
Yeah.
else that you could get them, but then it was sold out.
It was sold out
Yeah.
by like what we found it on Saturday,
Yeah.
so it sold out on
Yeah,
Friday,
yeah.
and they never replenished them.
Nah.
But that's kind of a quick discussion about Star Wars Celebration. Totally fun. If it's in your area, you should definitely
it,
go, because it is fun.
If you're a Star Wars fan, yeah.
Yes. But that's it. That's all I can think that we have to talk about. There's some other things. My mom got a bunch of Shirley Temples. You might see those later. So keep an eye out for that. And that's pretty much it.
Yep.
So we will talk to you later. Let us know what you think of everything in the video, and we will talk to you soon. Bye.